Coming off a big victory, really just want to give a shout out and appreciation for the great fan base. I thought it was a tremendous atmosphere at noon. As I mentioned last Monday, I didn't think that was going to be a problem, and it was really a great atmosphere. And again, credit to our coaches and our players. I thought they came out very fast, had a very disciplined week of practice, had a sense of urgency just to get better. As I say to you all the time, we always want to win. It's just about the preparation and the discipline throughout the week to put yourself in a position to be successful. I think that shows, we continue to work that way, then good things are ahead. As I mentioned, post game, I thought there were stretches in that game where we played some very good football, and then there's some areas where we still need to improve. But again, I appreciate and credit our coaches and our players for the hard work that they put in to take care of that victory, to put us in a position for another big game this week. I think it goes without saying, the challenge to go on the road to Athens to play Georgia. What a great opportunity. You have to credit Coach Kirby Smart, his staff, his players for what they've done and the consistency that they've had for many years, in particular the past two. To go on and win back-to-back national championships is very difficult to do. And they do a great job of, I think everybody knows the players that they have, and it's certainly a uniquely talented football team across the board. They do a great job of recruiting. The players are very good players, but they work hard. They're fundamentally sound, and obviously they're well coached. So, for us, it's about us again. We need to go back this week and continue to build, continue to look at the way we've been practicing, the way we've been improving, and look to take another step here this week. So that's the challenge for us, to look to continue to grow. I think we left a lot on the field. There's a lot of things that we can improve on, and we have to concentrate on that. I think it does give us confidence to show you what we can do when we put it together, but it has to motivate us to work on the areas where we're falling short, because we're going to need to play a complete game here this week.
Mark, the last two against Georgia have been closer games. Do you feel like it's just your guys stepping up to that level of competition, or is it something you guys are seeing? Is it a good matchup? What has it been against that?
It's a challenge. I mean, obviously, it's a real challenge playing those guys, and as I mentioned, I think they're just a very good team. They're obviously talented. That goes without saying. But I think I mentioned a year ago, maybe post game and throughout the year, I don't think they get enough credit for how well they're coached as well.
Mark, we went back and watched the tape, just the O-line performance in general. Anything that really stood out from that?
I thought they obviously played the best game of the year. They took some great pride in just straining of executing. We've talked about the communication, and I thought there would be an improvement there with Eli at center, and I think that showed improvement in the second week. And I just think their overall commitment and attitude the past several weeks have paid off some in that game, because they were obviously very motivated to get some movement at the first level and to really strain, and they did a good job.
Through 5 games, you've only given up 4 sacks. How much of that credit goes to the offensive line, and how much credit goes to Devin and his pocket presence?
Yeah, I think you could spread the credit around. I think the offensive line has done a much better job. I think our communication has been much better. We've been on the same page and working hard to communicate with all the different things that you see. I think Devin and his awareness and his ability to move in the pocket, and then I also believe you have to give credit to the staff for putting them in a position to protect and to move the pocket and take your chances, or take your shots and pick your protections at the right time.
Mark, obviously Georgia's kind of separated themselves from a lot of teams the last couple of years. in this build. What do you attribute their success to? And is there any part of Kirby's Smarts program that you kind of try to bring into your own?
Well, I think, I said it 3 times already. I mean, you'd have to be a moron not to appreciate what they do. That they're pretty impressive. I think, and it's all levels. They recruit at a very high level. They obviously work extremely hard at recruiting. They can recruit. They have a good base, but they work hard at it, and they do a good job of recruiting and evaluating talent. They develop their talent, and they coach them, really well. So you put those things together, and it's a pretty good combination. So.
What your receivers got beat up over Saturday. How do they look? And are there young guys that are coming on that maybe could get some more reps if you need them on Saturday?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to. We're going to have to bring Anthony Brown along and DeKel. And I've mentioned DeKel earlier because he's shown flashes and he's really, worked hard. Opportunities are tough when we're in these big games, but he's a guy that I have trust in. He's worked hard and, hopefully he's going to continue to step up as well.
Mark, what?
Mark, do you know if you'll have?
No, I can't get into all that right now. I really don't. We'll see how the week goes.
Coach,
We talked with Cullen after the game, and he said that you guys, there's some receivers that can be finishing some of those plays and stuff. And he said they still believe in those guys. What's the message to those guys, just to kind of get them finishing some of those plays?
Well, I think you saw some improvement in that area. For instance, Barry on when he caught a 7 or 8 yard hitch, turn, press upfield, finish that play, get the first down instead of coming up a half yard short. That's an improvement. Some guys finishing some catches. I don't think we need to over coach that or over analyze that. These are good players that work hard, that care, that we I think it's quite obvious we need to continue to work as a group, not just any individual player, but with the quarterbacks, tight ends, backs, receivers, all getting on the same page and executing at a higher level. We're going to need to execute at a higher level in the pass game as we move forward.
Brock Bowers, obviously, third time going against him, but does he keep getting better? I mean, what have you seen?
Wow. Absolute freak. Absolute freak, and I mean that in the most complimentary way. What a incredible player. He's selfless. You could tell. He's a complete player. He plays well without the football. He plays well with the football. He's a team guy. You could tell that's a great guy to work around right there. He steps up when they need him to. But very unique player. I had the opportunity to be at at Arizona when Gronk was there. And I know people, they're just different players, both unbelievably great and talented, just different. This guy's something I haven't seen before.
What have you seen out of Carson today?
I see a very good player that's getting more and more comfortable every game. I mean, heck, he's throwing, I want to say 70% completion percentage, and their yards per attempt is high as well. It's over 9. So when you're throwing at 70% and over 9 yards completion, he's playing at a very good level. And he's just getting some guys back too. He's getting his running backs back healthy. He's getting McConkey back healthy. So they're getting better and better.
Is the offense schematically much different from looking to?
Not a ton. Not a ton. I mean, they still are very creative. I mean, is there some differences? Of course, but they're still Georgia, right? They still have incredible players that their run game is a bit of everything. They run zone schemes, they run gap schemes, they run their toss plays, that they have always run. Very good with the play action off of it, and how they get the ball to Bowers is very unique. They could get the ball to him many different ways, so they've done a really good job.
Mark, it looked like Alex Safari really made good plays in space. You look at what you see, Phil, and also keeping away. It looked like
Yeah, I think both of them really did play better. I think Alex, I think it was carryover. I think he's been practicing better. I think it carried right over to the field. Just a greater sense of urgency. He made really strong tackles in the open field that we needed to against some very talented players. And Keaton has been, just solid. He's just and I think he did take another step up. And I think with confidence and just his ability, and he's. I think last Monday I mentioned it that he's just been a steady player for us and really playing some good ball.
Mark, that was probably the cleanest game you've played. And it couldn't come at a better time, obviously.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of thing that could carry over?
Yeah, we need to. You need to build on that. I think you all can sense it. I've been honest in here the past couple weeks, and I feel like the things were in place, for us to take a jump. Because it wasn't for a lack of effort, it wasn't for a lack of a plan. There was just some minor execution things that we knew we could get fixed, and we still have to. I think it could give us confidence to know what we can do, but also, there's that disconnect or discontent because we know we could be better. We know we left plays out there on the field, and we know we're going to have to improve. With the challenge that starts this week. I mean, you have to continue to play clean, and you got to improve on those areas.
Mark, we talked about, Kenneth's still been out a few weeks there.
Pardon me?
Kenneth has been out a few
Yeah.
weeks. How has Dylan Ray played? Y'all rotated some other guys. How have those guys coming along behind even some of those?
Yeah, I think we're getting better. It would be sure nice to have Kenneth back, just with all the experience that he has and the size and everything. But Dylan's done a good job, and he's stepped up, and he's battling. He's working really hard, and we have a really great appreciation for him. Because again, as I mentioned, his natural position may be a tackle, but he's playing guard, and he's playing it very well. We go in there against Florida, and we're able to rush the ball for over 300 yards. He obviously has done a good job.
Mark, that move Jagger back to guard, how has that helped him, and how does it enhance your offensive play?
I think it helps him individually because it unloads a lot of pressure off him. I mean, the center, not only with the snaps, but just with the IDs and the communication, there's a lot of pressure on him. So I think you could see, that we put more on Eli, and Eli has the experience, and he's led us, and he's done a really good job. And so that's the second part of your answer. How has it helped? Is the experience and the communication with Eli taking over a lot of those responsibilities.
It kind of got overlooked Saturday, but the play where on the blocked extra point where Wilson Berry ran down
Yeah.
and tackled, is he going to now lobby to get some points?
I mean,
Were you surprised
About that?
it was really, impressive. Really impressive. He took great pride in it. He ran him down and made a strong tackle, and he made sure to roll on top of him and give him a little, you know what I mean? And so, like, he was very, but I really appreciate that. And I think you all know, and we know the importance of saving those 2 points were, and you guys do too. That's a 3-point swing if they get it in the end zone there. And, that was just great effort, and, showed some unique skills there, getting them down. Yeah.
Mark, Devin's having a lot of balls batted at the line of scrimmage. How do you kind of get rid of that?
Well, in the first touchdown pass that he threw it completely sidearm. So he can change his arm angle. He completely threw it from the hip and threw a nice ball. And obviously Ray did a great job of finishing. But the arm angle was impressive as well. Some of that, we just, he has to feel that. He has to adjust his arm angle once in a while. Some of it you're not going to control. I mean, we get tips as well. We're playing against some dudes with some length, and there's some big bodies in there, and we got to look at where we're throwing it, when we're throwing it, things of that nature.
Darren Henry, Young's guys kind of flashed every week.
Yeah.
How do you handle last year, just being so patient, and what have you seen from him?
Well, it's a great example of just, taking care of yourself. And as I tell players all the time, some believe you, some don't, some buy in, some don't. But it's not about anybody else. It's about yourself. It's about, continuing to to prepare and become the best player you can be, and by working every day and buying into that, and he's a great example of that because he's getting better. And he's given us quality snaps right now, and we're able to have a rotation at the defensive line and keep guys fresh. And as you go through this year and in this conference, you're going to get beat up, and so it's a great example for Darian to it's a credit to him for how hard he's worked and to continue to believe and buy in and not be selfish.
Mark, it's the third time in 6 years that Kentucky's played Georgia for the SEC East lead. What have you learned in terms of getting the team ready to handle that kind of stage?
Well, I'd like to believe you have to learn from every opportunity. And each time you put yourself in a position, again, it's about us. How will we handle it? How will we play? And we're on the road. This is, really with Vandy's stadium being torn up and not having the ability to have that many fans there. I mean, in an SEC environment, this would be the first time we take it in this type of environment. And so how are we going to handle that? And, I think every time you put yourself in that position, you better learn from it. You better grow from it in some way, shape, or form. But for us, it's about continuing to build on the good things, continuing to play well, play clean, and, and do the things we're doing.
Mark, you knew about Ray Davis when you signed him. Did you know he had that kind of game in him where he was knocking linebackers back and finishing plays and carrying guys into the end zone and all that?
I do, because I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen him really. Maybe I haven't seen a game like that, but yeah, I knew he had it in him. Really proud of him because he really did some good things. Obviously, he was the first one to credit his O-line and tight ends and the people around him, and that's a fact. That's true, and he couldn't do it alone, but he definitely did some great individual things as well, which I talk about all the time. You're going to have to. When you play games like this and you're playing Georgia, and there's good football around, and then there's some great individual plays and some great individual efforts as well.
What's the biggest improvement you need to see both offensively and defensively to see success against Georgia this week?
Well, offensively, we got to just have some continuity, and obviously we need to improve with some of the basics of the pass game. We've done it throughout the year. As a matter of fact, up until this past game, we've thrown the ball much cleaner than running it, and this week it was vice versa. So get back to being efficient at throwing the football. We have to be balanced again. There was a stat I was looking at. I know it's ridiculous, but something where you have to have some yards rushing, or you don't have a good chance of beating Georgia. So we're going to try to be balanced. We can't do it one way or the other. So we know balance will be key. And then defensively, we need to continue we're making big plays. We're being very disruptive. The defensive line has been extremely disruptive. We've been very strong at the point of attack in the run game, but also creating pressure. And we've created some turnovers, and got to continue with that.
You did win by going to the ground, much different than the other wins earlier in this year. What does it say about your team that they're finding kind of different ways to get victories?
Yeah, and I think it says a lot. And even last week, I pointed that out on Monday. Our yards per carry, it's not like they were, it's not like it was bad. So I think we were more consistent this past week at again, creating some very explosive runs, but not taking as many negative yardage runs as well. And, for our team, I think it just gives them a confidence to be who we are, and we want to be a balanced team. But, again, we want to be physical.
Defensively, there was, a couple times backed up, and they were able to get those fourth down stops. How did you see, particular, like, when the guy makes a catch over Drew Phillips, how do you see some of those guys respond to adversity?
Yeah, I love the way he didn't blink. You know what I mean? He felt good. He felt like he had a good idea where that ball was going, and the player from Florida made a great catch, and Drew didn't get off on the right foot as far as his timing of playing it. He could play it better than that. He will, but he didn't flinch. He knew he came right back and played and made some big plays for us the rest of the game.
Mark, you talked about needing consistency at that right tackle position, and then
Pardon me?
a few weeks ago you talked about needing consistency at that right tackle position every play, and then you get Flax ends up winning the SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. How important was that to the running game?
Yeah, Jeremy has really been stepping it up. You could see the great size that he has and the physical nature that he can play with. And it's just, once again, it's really nice to see him continue to grow and get better and improve. We need him to be. He could be a very impactful player for us, and we need him to continue to improve.
Mark, was it back to Henry Young for a second?
Yeah.
Back to Henry Young for a second. And you talked about why he's improved and this, that, what have you. What does he bring to the field athletically, physically?
Well, I think you know why he's improved. You know what I'm going to say, because he's just stuck to the process. He's stuck to work and taking the coaching and, truly buying in. And he brings some athleticism. He brings some quick twitch. He brings some things, that he can do.
Well, I really value that you can address us without feeling angry. You said that you be so impatient, you ain't just knows that you get this big win. You must feel relieved that you can come in here today and feel not like you're not having to be pissed off about anything.
Well, I said I wasn't pissed off on Saturday. I didn't say anything about it. You hear me?
Bowers, going back to Bowers, he's a matchup nightmare, obviously. Without, giving up your secret sauce, what does it take to slow down a guy like that?
Well, I mean, heck, he made back-to-back one-handed catches, the other day. They had him covered pretty good. So I don't think we could put any more than 2 on him at any one point in time. But no, I think Brock is going to get. He's going to get his. He's going to make plays. I think it's kind of like going up against Michael Jordan or somebody like that. Like they're going to get theirs. I mean, but we have to compete at a high level. We have to be on point with our coverage. We have to compete at a high level. We have to win our fair share of one-on-ones as well, because I think he's going to make some plays, but we have to make ours. And when we have coverage, when we have a one-on-one, when we have a contested play with him, we have to win our fair share as well.
Kirby talks every year about how physical this game is with Georgia and Kentucky. I believe he even called it a bloodbath after the Auburn game. In your mind, what makes these games so physical? Why do they play out like that, I guess, when both teams just
I think both teams, I think they know, with us, I mean, we have we try to build around that. I mean, we have a long physical defense, and up front, we've always prided ourselves on being able to run the ball. It was nice to get back to that this past week. And, so hopefully we'll be able to match their physicality, because they certainly are big and long and athletic across the board. But our team will rise to the challenge. I think, we've gone through a tough stretch here where, our guys are beat up a little bit, but, no rest for the weary. We got to get back at it here today and have a great week of prep.
Mark, it seemed like the Eric Jackson was all over the field.
Yeah.
Did he step things up, or has he been doing that? We just now noticed.
Yeah, he's really a solid guy. A lot of things he does goes unnoticed sometimes because he's in the right place, most of the time, and is really good in coverage and has a good feel for things. He did play very well. And as a matter of fact, he's going to be our defensive player of the game, and so he did some good things.
Mark, on Trevor's interception, looked like Deion dropped back in coverage. When you recruited him, did you think he had that kind of athletic ability that you could do?
Well, like Brad said, he likes his job, so I don't think he's going to be dropping him back too much. You know what I mean? So too often, because he's too good of a rusher. But no, he's one of those guys. He's disruptive in a lot of ways. And like Deion said, and I heard the quote until I saw the film on Sunday, but he said he dropped back there and tried to play big, and he did. He was out there, stretched out, and played big, and he's a big dude. And I think wherever he's at, you could feel his presence, and he does a lot of things that go unnoticed, and but we notice it. When we watch the film and our players see him, he's a very disruptive guy no matter what he does.
Did anyone, coach, has, opened up Cats Tech like he is now?
Pardon me?
Cats Tech in Detroit.
Yeah.
Is anyone particular coach?
I can't comment on
Beg pardon?
I can't comment on any recruit. Is that what you're saying on a recruit? Yeah, I mean, no, but we've had some great players from there, and you know, DeAndre and him, and you know, so it's been great.
When you look at Hairston and Dion and Flax, that state's been pretty good to you.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's been very good, and we gotta get back in there.
Anyone else? If not, thank you very much. We will
Okay.
See you tomorrow, after practice.
Thank you.